powered by Riverside FM.
Welcome back to Choey and Jandler's The Fun Time Shoot Terrific Happy Hour. Welcome, Choey.
Welcome, Jandler.
Here's to the show. There it goes. We're back. It's the first Friday in April, our April 4th edition. Sad to say, no March Madness is done for the year. I know we cried our tears. Hooks, by the way, texted today. She's like, when did the episode come out? And I was like, Friday's, Hooks. It came out already. Like now we're recording the next week.
We're on like third season, fourth season already. Like what the heck, man? Like
3 seasons.
Fridays.
Well, she binges it, you know. You got it. She doesn't. To her, she listens to it when she's doing data and grades or whatever. So that's probably why she's not always aware.
Here are today's effing holidays.
All right. So April 4th, and I put 5th here, by the way. My bad. But April 4th holidays. First Contact Day. Trekkies unite. We can celebrate all things Star Trek until we make first contact in 2063. We'll be.
Is that what that was? What it was? Damn.
I guess. Dude, when if we make it then to Trekkie Day? 83 years old.
83 years old. Jeez.
Yeah. I don't understand this photo here, but it's Go for Broke Day on April 5th. Get ready to discover why National Go for Broke Day is such a significant day. Looks like it has something to do with the military. That's all I can say. I probably should have read more into that. That would have been smart, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. Because everybody's gonna be like,
let's go for Broke Day. All right. This is what we can do it right here. We can click on it and we can say Go for Broke Day is National Go for Broke Day is on April 5th. Oh, I'm on the wrong day. So these are April 5th holidays. Oops. But we are excited to celebrate today, marked in honor of one of the finest American military units that fought for peace and saw to the end of World War II. All right, that really ruins a lot of the gags I had picked up for holidays, you know? It's National Picky Eaters Day. You got kids. Do they like, you cook dinner and they're like, no, I don't like this, Choey. I don't like this, father.
I would say I'm probably as picky, if not a little bit more picky than they. Like, there's just certain stuff like I just don't like. I don't like the flavor. And like I feel like I'm seasoned enough in life that I should be able to sit there and say I don't mind.
Today is also National Hug a News Person Day. Warm up those hugging muscles because we're showing our appreciation for news people in a big way. I don't know if we're going to be able to follow through on that one, but you know, it's always out there.
I don't really like hugging news. Oh, look at that! You make up for the school librarian day. There we go.
See that school librarians are invaluable as they inculcate the habit of reading and lifelong learning. Why can't they just say teacher?
I mean, it's kind of like when you inculcate, you're just like dive into it. You're super into the stuff.
I like the National Walk Around Things Day. It's vague, but it's also compelling, right? Just circle back to how this day may have started. By the way, can I show you this? Since I feel
like the people celebrating the National Walk Around Things Day like continued to celebrate National Weed Day from last week, and they're at the point where they just wander.
You know what stinks is I was like, hey, April 5th, International Firewalk Day. You know, firewalking can change your life and help you become a better version of yourself. And then you can see my screen right here, right?
Yeah.
These last 6 people all paid $5,000 so that we can say it's their birthday. One of these persons was an actress that passed away, so I get it. Another's a musician, but these other 4, I'm like, who? I don't feel like reading their name and giving them props because I'm like, that's why it's your birthday, man. You know? Maybe I'm being selfish, you know?
I'll tell you what, though, that firewalking thing,
it
probably changes your life for a little bit because I bet you get. I don't see how those people don't get like super like. I've done like stupid things where like I pull like a coal out of the fire and like kind of play with it like a juggling thing.
Yeah.
And if it sits even just for a moment too long on your hand, you get a real bad blister. Oh yeah, I was enjoying the same stuff that we enjoy for the show.
Oh, when you were younger.
Yeah, and so I was very much enjoying my day and my evening. I was like, I can juggle hot coals. Look at me go! And then like it would sit on your hand a little too long, and then you'd have a big old white blister for like a week.
I think the thing about the firewalking, from what as long as it's not like you just sprint across it, right? But as long as you're not pausing to like stop and listen or whatever. By the way, it's loading here on the slideshow. But as long as you're not just like pausing and waiting, you're like walking. I think you're kind of okay.
But that's my thing though. If
It's-
you're walking through the flames, I picked out like a coal out of the fire, let it cool down for a moment, and then like toss it around like with like some guys around the fire. They're walking through like fire where it's like on fire, fire. I mean, you gotta
Yeah,
burn your bottom of your feet on that one.
yeah,
That's
exactly,
insane.
exactly.
It's time for this week's edition of Choey and Jandler's headlines. Yay! Hooray!
So he's like, I got this.
Oh, I
Computer.
got you. I got you.
Hold my
Don't worry
beer.
about it.
Hold my beer, AI. I'm not replaced yet. So for my first headline, there was a student. I think it was last week, and she's like, "Hey, Mr. Bing, like we have class dojo, so we get points and stuff." And she wanted like a high five me to praise her for cleaning something up. And I was like, "You want me to thank you for cleaning up the mess that you made?" And I was like, and she's like, "Yep." And I was like, so I sarcastically thanked her, but I was like, "I'm gonna write this down for the show." I was like, I can't believe I have to say thank you for doing your job.
I mean,
Congrats, little one.
that's the society we got now. Everybody gets a participation trophy.
At least she wasn't mean about it. She was just joking. It's like she was laughing, right? That's her way of being silly. But I still was like, this is crazy.
She laughs, then you say something, and she goes and cries in the corner. Just a soft tear.
When she hears this podcast during stations, right, as we're trying to boost the listeners.
Hopefully you don't do that because I'm like, sir, you sound a lot like Mr. Bing on here. Coincidence?
Totally coincidence. I know Mr. Bing. We're twin brothers. That's who it is.
So just listen to buyblacket.com though. Your parents might want to buy some stuff off that.
My next headline is, so this happened today, like at the end of the day. A student, apparently he's like, Mr. Bing, my juice box exploded inside my desk. And I was like, what in the world is juice box doing in your desk? I was keeping it for snacks. So like he had to clean everything. I was like, and I told you have to teach these kids, especially when it's not water. You can't just get a paper towel. I was like, now you got to get a wet wipe, guys. You got to, or it's going to get sticky and we're going to get ants and roaches and whatnot. But the thought process for some of these boys and girls, like, let me just throw this, combustible juice box in there. And I want to say last week, some girl had a, like one of those tubes of like, I think it was yogurt. And she was playing around with it. She bent it and it exploded and yogurt went over like two students that were like across from her. And I was like, now you got to go clean that up. It was a mess.
How did the juice box just explode?
Then, that's a question that I never bothered to ask because I was trying to teach and I was like, dude, just clean it up now. But
like, I feel like you have to put some pressure on it for the juice box. I think the kid did it on purpose.
He's probably like, if I fold it in half and squeeze it as hard as I can, nothing will happen, right? And then he learned, he's like you. He's like, what if I put this leaf on my face? It'll be fine. And then he finds out it wasn't.
It was interesting. It was an interesting texture.
you're like, I was doing an experiment. So was he. All right. My next headline, I'm not even calling it headline. I was thinking of something new, right? You know how we do our little segments?
Yeah.
I'm gonna call this sorry, I was trying to do something here. I'm gonna call this herd alert, right? You know how you did your nerd. I always think of your nerd alert that you did on me. Yeah. So I'm gonna call this hurt alert, right? And every now and then, me just detailing with you silly quote unquote injuries that these kids get, right? That you're just I'm flabbergasted by it. Like I never thought I'd have to deal with this. So I came back from lunch. His kid's right over walking in. He's like freaking out, right? He got talkie dust in his eye, which obviously sounds like it's staying a lot, right? Yeah, and that's I sent him to the nurse, and I guess she helped wash it out and give him like a little cold compress for his eye, which again I have no problem helping him out with. But I never thought in all my years as a teacher I'd have to send students to the nurse because they got like something in their eye, like talkie dust in their eye.
So,
man,
when I was still like undergraduate over at university or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I was like making myself something. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a little fancy, do some little fancy meal. So I was like, I'm gonna make chicken breast, like pan-seared chicken, and I'm gonna melt like some like a white cheese, whatever cheese I had in the fridge, and some like fresh cut jalapenos, and just put grill, get the thing all nice cooked, and then put some jalapeno on it, and then melt the cheese over the top, so it just has like a nice coating. The jalapeno sealed in, and I didn't think about it, and so I'm cutting the jalapenos together, and I scratched my nose.
They get inside your nostril.
Yeah, and it started burning my nose, and I was like, and so like it's burning my nose, and I was like, dude, it's burning my nose, and it's like it started making my eyes water because it was burning so bad, and I was like, my eyes are watering. I wiped my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
It started burning my eyes, and so I was like, oh. And I'm like, dude, this is like, the point was like intense. And so I called my dad, and I'm like, Pop, what's going on? And he's like, what's going on? I'm like, my eyes, my nose are burning. And he's like, what happened? I'm like, I told him what happened, and he starts laughing at me. And I was like, how do I fix it? He's like, you just gotta wait. Like, you just gotta wait it out. And I was like,
pour milk in your eye.
well, I was just like, I even asked. I was like, because I tried to wash it out. I felt like it made it worse. And he's like, you just gotta wait. And he's just laughing. I'm like, it's not funny. And I remember like roommates coming home and they, dude, what, are you all right? And I was like, no, it burned.
Was your eyes all puffy like you got in a fight with Mike Tyson or something?
It looked like I had like almost like some sort of crazy pink eye infection going on because like it's just so red like across the face and the nose.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, oh, like, and it's just like dripping everywhere. And I'm like, I gotta wash my hands now.
It like swells up like in Rocky, and you're like, cut me, Mick.
Look at a class like this. Adrian.
Oh, dude, that sucks. I think, fortunately, I don't think I've ever rubbed my eyes with stuff like that, but I know what you mean. That like I said, I totally felt for the kid, but at the same time, in my head, I'm like, I just never thought that would be something I have to worry about. Hey kids, make sure you wash your hands after eating Takis before you touch your face.
It sucks.
It is what it is. Right. By the way, I was using a new song for that herd alert, so that would be something we do every now and then. It's good to know that it happened to more than one person, right? Kids and adults can put stuff in their eyes.
They do.
Safety. Nothing else. You learn from Choey and Jandler, don't rub your face or your eyes after you eat Takis.
Yeah.
Or
wash your hands. Wash your hands.
It's always important, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna do a teachable moment real quick. We like to at least I like to be flexible, right? I have ideas. And I'm like, oh, maybe we don't have time, but I feel like this is flexible. This has kind of gone fast, so we'll be able to throw in a lot of stuff we haven't heard in a while, right? Teachable moments with Jandler Bing. This happened last week. I forget what day it was when we got all the rain.
Might be National Weed Day.
Yeah, but even though I don't think we've ever talked about this, maybe we have, but I just instantly thought of you in my head. We're walking after school, right? It had rained. It rained a lot last week. I think it was Weed Day, by the way, because it was near the end of the week, but it was still muddy, right?
Yeah.
And so as we're walking, we always tell the students, when it's rainy or wet, we're walking. We're not running because it's slick or whatever, right? Yeah. I'm holding, every now and then, I have to help. Actually, it was Thursday, but I have to help with like this one pre-K student because another teacher might be doing something. So I have to hold his hand and help walk him, right?
Yeah.
And when I walk with a pre-K kid, I can't walk my normal pace because I got to slow down his pace, right? So normally I'm in front trying to make sure the kids aren't sprinting. So this kid is sprinting in front, and he runs through this mud pile, and I'm telling this dude wiped out. Just like, you see his feet go above his head, just slides on his back. He gets his whole, like he got mud, like got like this skunk streak down his back, right? And the first thing I could think of, right, and this may make me sound like a jerk, was that's why we don't run. And then I helped cross. What I normally do is I'm walking back. His grandma was there, and I went and talked to her. I was like, hey, I hope you don't think I was being mean to your grandson. But I was like, I was further away, but I was trying to tell him, like, that's why we don't run. And she's like, no, you're right. I tell him not to run all the time too. But I was like, yep, hopefully you learned, that's why we don't run when it's muddy out there, because your clothes can get dirty. You could get hurt, you know?
Yeah, that sucks. That's funny, but it sucks.
At least it wasn't like it'd have been. It'd have sucked more. It would have been, I guess, funnier if like one of us teachers just slipped, you know? If we were
Go
walking,
get him.
like if we're walking, they're like, and the kids are like, "That's why you don't walk," you know? That's next time.
We went to the lake one time, and the oldest, like, you know, have you ever seen like mud that's just like thick, deep mud, and like you
Yeah.
step it and you sink?
Yeah,
We went
exactly.
and he lost a sandal. Like
Mm.
he lost a sandal. Like his foot got stuck and he like pulled it out and the sandal came off and we was like we couldn't find the dang thing. And I like and it was one of those things where like we told him don't go walk there. He's like that'll be fine. We're like don't please just don't go walk in the mud. And he lost his sandals. He's like what do I do? And I'm like well guess you're not wearing sandals the rest of the damn trip. Like what do you mean like
You should have been like, "Don't walk in the mud." That's what you do.
yeah I was like I don't know what else to say at this point. Like I already said it all.
Like quicksand mud, you know?
Yeah, it sucks, dude. It's
Rough.
like and it gets that like
Yeah.
suction noise to it and you're like that sucks.
All right, quick, let's take it to break and we come back. Song, ad, some What's Choppin' Choey, and TripAdvisor. You
All right.
good?
Yeah.
All right, man. At some point.
We say bro, gun bay, cheers mate, and cheers mate again, or simply cheers. Sometimes it's short towels and tea, other times it's cheers. Are you effing hoser? You effing hoser. We also say soul day, salute, salutio to gay, skull. Let's all say Nastarovi in the Russian way. In Vietnam we shout out yo Walugi Wawa, make South Africa glow. In Portugal it's a solid zone, and Bud Mo, Ukraine's here to stay. For Jamaica, it's a loud yaman. No matter the place, we drink till dawn. That's how Choey and Jandler cheers around the world. Cheers, cheers around the world.
I wanted to hear that.
It's,
Get that line.
I feel like it doesn't. I don't know why it's in the song, but my favorite part of that song is the like that
Oh,
little
yeah,
like upbeat. Like you're like, what? Why?
I think
what is
that
for?
happens like right after that when it goes into like the verse or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I agree too. I actually every song that I've made, you know, for the podcast or like some kind of digital short, I have on Suno, I have a playlist. And so every now and then I'm listening to it on my phone. Like, you know, so like instead of listening to iTunes, I'm listening to that stuff. So like the original one, you know, the first one we came up with, that popped on today, and I was like, I like that one too, but it's just so different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just completely different. But you know what song I love hearing, and I always laugh. What is the Choey Wipes? Because that's the first song on the playlist, right? So like when it gets to the bottom, it just recycles to the top, and I always laugh at Choey's Wipes. And then the one after that is the Siri one, which we're gonna do a short for and other stuff. But you know the one about
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. It's hard to
yeah.
explain. You just have to hear it.
I
But
was just laughing because the Choey. I forgot about Choey's wipes.
all right, let's go, Morgan.
Because it's.
What the?
Hi there. I'm here to help Choey and Jandler to read an advertisement for buyblacket.com. Please shop buyblacket.com. Are you looking for unique gifts at unbeatable prices? Then look no further. Buyblacket.com has quality merchandise for everyone on your list, from gifts for cat and dog lovers to American fans, beer enthusiasts, and even Jesus lovers. As for teachers, we didn't forget about you. Please don't miss our funny attire to brighten up your classroom. So bring a smile to your loved ones' faces and shop buyblacket.com today. Tell them Choey and Jandler sent you.
It's always nice hearing that guy. You know, calming
crazy,
presence.
Like yeah, he just has a good voice. Like I wish I had a voice like that. Like I don't know that. Like I know that the missus has said like at night, like I can sit there and like kind of just talk in a soft voice, and she says it soothes her and puts her to sleep. But it's like Morgan Freeman and Barry White.
Uh-huh.
Like just amazing voice. Like You got Barry White, be like, my darling, just like,
You know,
and it's like, what the? That's
I was
awesome.
thinking when you talk about the missus says your voice is soothing enough helps put her to sleep. I want to say I had an ex that said the same thing, but it was more about I bored her, with my conversation topics or whatever. So it's a little bit different,
Yeah.
But all right, like I said, we'll add the song in after. Let's turn it over to what's Chappin Choey. It's been a while. There you go. There you go. All right, sir. What's Chappin Choey?
So, like, I was thinking about because you asked me about it last week, and I was like, you know what? I got something because it just popped in my head, like, just by happenstance. Like, and I would assume other people out in listener land and get irritated with it too. So it's not just me. And if it is just me, then oh well. Like, I'm still justified. Nothing bothers me more than when you're like rolling in the car. And either way that it happens, either I put the song on that I want to hear, or like it pops on the radio and I want to hear, and it's like, oh man, I like this song. And like, I'm not, unless I'm just kind of being like, crazy, like goofy to the wind kind of thing, where having fun with,
Yeah.
liquid enhancement.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really sing. I'll sing, but it's like soft. So like if the music banging, it's like like just kind of like I'm not singing over the beat.
Right.
But
Right.
it pisses me off to no end when somebody starts singing the song while it's playing, and I'm like, I don't want to hear you. I want to hear this. That's why it's on.
Wait, so you mean you're bad if someone in the car is singing louder than the song? Is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's
What
like
if that
I don't want to.
What if that someone is you and you just realize it's you after you get upset?
Oh, it's
like,
not me.
Oh, you're like, who's singing? Oh, it's me.
No, it's not. It's never. And if it is me singing louder than the music, I'm enjoying my own because I'm enjoying the music. I'm in the music. I'm in the song.
I thought you were gonna tell me nothing chaps you more than when you come to a stoplight, your windows down, and you're blaring the radio, and someone in the other car starts singing it, and you're like,
no,
I don't even know you. I don't even know you, stranger.
They're in the car. They're messing up my song, and then even to make it worse is when they're singing it and they sing the wrong words to the song. It's like that's not even. You're messing up the song, and you're messing up the song. Like you're messing it up for me, and you're messing it up yourself.
Dude,
and so it becomes like when I was like, you ruin the whole moment.
I got a good friend of mine from the Navy. He lives near Chicago. Right now, I'm gonna call him Wisdom Star because he's used that made-up name before.
Yeah.
But what would always chap him about songs, right? Is let's say you and me are listening to a song and we're both singing it, right? I screw up a word, I miss a lyric, and he's like, "Oh, start over." We're gonna get it right. And he would do this. There was times that we'd listen to the same song like 6 times in a row. Get it right, type thing. Sing along correctly. It was kind of funny. I was like, come on. I remember one time we went with me, him, and another guy. We were going to this one bar, but we had to get this one song right before. We sang that song at least 6, 7 times. And I'm like, dude, let's go.
OCD right there. OCD.
I know, right? Oh, I know.
But yeah, it just bothers me. Like, and it's just like, dude, because I'm like, I'm listening to the song, I want to hear it, and then especially if it's on the radio, it pisses me off even worse.
When did it? Because that popped in your head the next day. So did that happen on the way to dropping the kids off or something?
It did. Like we were rolling to the grocery store and it happened, and I was like, I got the idea. I got it.
But that would mean that somebody in your car was doing it, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
I sent you the text.
Uh-huh.
Right after I got upstairs, I was like, dude. And the kid was like, what? I'm just singing. I'm like, I know, but I wanted to hear them singing, not you. And it's on the radio, which means I can't, like, unless I go Google it and play through YouTube Music, I don't hear the song the rest of the, like, for weeks on end. Who knows when's the next time I'm going to hear the song coming through my car. But you messed it up.
Here's the kind of like, what do they call, like, age yourself, when you you date how old you are or something, whatever.
Yeah.
But this was Chapping in a way, it kind of reminds me. It was a little bit different, but I remember late 90s, right? Like we're getting most of them when we get out of high school. But you're in a car or you're driving, right? And the song you want to listen to finally comes on the radio. but you're pulling in to where you, like you're at your destination, and you're like, ah. So there's times that like I'd sit in the car like, oh, I want to hear this song, because at that time in the late '90s, you couldn't just get whatever song you wanted at the push of a button, So it's like I gotta sit here for a little bit, I'll be a little bit late walking in, but I gotta hear my jam.
The motivation that finally got me to get a Discman like adapter for the truck was the Titanic song, because
The Celine Dion one.
Because I would be driving through like wherever, and I'd like go into and the radio little tape deck or whatever the thing I had only had like 6 preset buttons. So like the 6 stations I liked the most were the ones.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many weeks it went on for finally I was like, forget it, man. I'm gonna get it. I gotta get something, because
do you remember?
It was on like 3 or 4 channels, man.
At
the same time.
Man, I was going to are we gonna do a inebriated history one of these times about these one-hit wonders, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, now I understand. I thought you were saying you were liking that the song came on. You're annoyed that it came on.
Because it'd be like on KTFM, and so I switched to like 98.5.
Yeah.
It'd just be like on a different part of the song, and so it was almost like I had like the extended play version instead of like being like a 4-minute song. It was like 8 minutes, because I'd be like, oh, where, and it like don't even get some different song, and then it's just always like.
It's like that like, but anyway, there's gonna be an inebriated history at some point talking about the one-hit wonders around the late '90s, early 2000s. But like I know that like I never liked the Macarena song, and what was that Ricky Martin song? "Living La Vida Loca."
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, this is so annoying. But I know what you mean.
And I don't listen to the radio as much anymore. I usually it's like sports radio, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
So I don't get annoyed as much, but like I'm curious. Honestly, I need to probably listen to the radio just to see if because I remember like back in the day, like it would be like whatever the hit song was would get played like twice an hour, every hour, and so you just finally get burned out of it, because it's like every time you're in the car, you'd hear like the same songs.
Like I always think it's funny, and we don't always talk about it, but I never know, hey, what I put down on our quote unquote agenda, what's gonna be like, 'cause some stuff I'm thinking in my head, oh, this might be a 5-second conversation, and it goes longer, right? And it's things that I think, oh, we're gonna talk a lot about this, and we're just kind of like, yeah, we touch on it, and we just move on, right? I honestly never expected, because there's a lot of music stuff that I think like we could, you keep going with and stuff. But yeah, I get it, man. I get it. You're like, I want to hear the song, But then you're like, I'm going. You're like, thanks, kids. Now I gotta pay 99 cents to listen to this on iTunes or whatever or something.
Yeah, I was just like, ruined it for me. Put me in an irritated mood. Chapped my A.
Chapped my Josephs. You're like, that's it. No food for you tonight. Go to your room.
You're done. No food. You get bread and water.
All right, go ahead and warm up those vocals there, Choey.
Oh, so I decided whenever you told me like that we were going through the United States, I want to do it a little bit differently. It's not Robin Leach is tagging out today.
Oh, just for today, right?
Just for today.
We got other countries to do, but I figured, hey, we haven't done a TripAdvisor in a while, and we haven't made fun of our country. I don't want these other nations to think that we don't like joking on ourselves,
Oh, got it. So that's why we'll see when we start. Let me know when it's ready.
All right, you're on 199, right?
The one where it starts out the current flag.
Yeah. With the U.S.
You ready?
Yeah.
Hey, y'all ready? Y'all here? The Texan history right here from the United States. The current flag was designed by a 17-year-old. Our current flag has 50 stars on it. In case you didn't know how to count to 50, my youngest, he can't ever count to 50. It's all good though. Designed as part of a high schooler as a high school project, 17-year-old Robert Hefton. His teacher gave him a B minus, but went on to upgrade that to an A after Hef submitted his design to the White House. And that White House is a big old White House out there on that green lawn. Y'all know that. Also, the Red Light Barbie and Ken were siblings. Hopefully, they didn't, enjoy themselves the way that Ken and Barbie are supposed to.
They weren't like Luke and Leia Skywalker, right?
Exactly. That's some dirty stuff right there. The diminutive Barbie is arguably the most famous doll in America. It was invented by Ruth Handler in 1959. Hopefully, Ruth Handler's Barbie and Ken didn't handle it themselves, She named it after her daughter, Barbara.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. She get the little hoot nanny going on. It might not surprise you to learn that Handler also had a son named Ken. By the way, in case you didn't know, dwarf tossing, which is a little bit harder to do because them things are a little compact, they got a little bit of weight to them. Dwarf tossing in establishments that sell liquor is illegal in Florida, so don't be doing none of that stuff. You come on down to Texas, we treat them real right, we give them a little toss whenever they feel like it.
Hey, real quick, I like how it's like dwarf tossing in establishments that sell liquor is illegal.
Yeah,
so
like
what does
step
that
outside
mean?
and you can do it.
Yeah, exactly. Just go out to the back porch.
Like,
you're
don't
fine.
bring that stuff in here. You take that outside. So a cat served as honorary mayor for 20 years in Talkeetna, Alaska. That's crazy, but you figure they ain't got a whole lot to do up in Alaska because it's big, but it's all spread out with all them Eskimos and that Eskimo ice and them polar bears probably. So we don't be doing nothing now. Anyways, might as well have a cat as your honorary mayor. Hunting unicorns, you get a license at a university in Michigan. Lake Superior State University in Michigan all allows interested parties to obtain a license to hunt with these one-horned wonders, should they wish. The official permission is issued by the Department of Natural Unicorns of the Unicorn Hunters of Lake Superior State University. That's a nice little long name for them people. These questers, as they like to be called, may hunt on Earth, on the moon, but only in unexplored areas. And in the Milky Way, although its southeast rim is closed during odd years, in case you didn't know that. And by the way, it's the Milky Way, the galaxy, not the candy bar, which is oh so scrumptious.
Good point.
Limit one unicorn per month, only one. Although I remember Cletus and myself, we was trying to look for unicorns one time. We ended up just enjoying ourselves and questing ourselves down to go get us some natural light and enjoy that later.
Right?
Looking for them things, we was like, big.
There you go.
more than 10% of Americans have worked or will work at McDonald's. Yeah, McDonald's got some good old breakfast. It is estimated that about 1 in 8 Americans has worked for the mega restaurant at some point in history. Reports indicate that this includes everyone from your neighbor's kids to Jeff Bezos, even that singer Pink, who, tell you what, she ain't exactly all pink, but she got a little pinkness to her from what I can see on her head, that's for sure. Last but not least, a store in Alabama sells unclaimed baggage from airlines. You lost your luggage? Might want to buy a ticket to Alabama, go get some of that unclaimed luggage in Scottsboro, Alabama, the only place in the United States that buys lost unclaimed luggage from airlines. It sells it back to the general public. Ain't that something messed up? Stuff that right there. You lose it and go there and say, hey, it's got my name on it. And they're sorry, you got to pay for it there, Slim.
Hey, real quick there, Cho.
What's up?
Are you the more than 10% that has worked at McDonald's?
Not as of yet. We'll see what the future holds.
Same here. So so we are. I guess we're
less than 90%.
Yeah, less than 90% of people that didn't go there, which is still a good majority. But man, it just tells you how how long.
You think they're everywhere? Like you can't drive. There's not too many places you can go to where there's not a McDonald's somewhere.
I like how where they got those Cosmics now, where I guess they're just supposed to be like the coffee shops. McDonald's. Yeah.
I drove past one the other day, and I was like, "What?" I had to Google. And I was like, "What is that? What is he?" I was like, "Is it like a space age burger?"
You know what would be cool if the next thing is like the next McDonald's is like just milkshakes only.
There was.
What would you call that?
There was a 50s style, like diner style McDonald's for a while. I remember when I was a kid, like over on like the north side of San Antonio, but I think they closed it down at some point or just like remodeled it and kind of, but it was kind of cool because it was like a 50. It reminded me, remember the diner in what Back to the Future first one
Mm-hmm.
that he goes into? Like it looked a lot like that. I remember my
Oh,
dad
okay.
taking me there like one time, and I was like, it was just cool, like the way it was all set up.
Yeah, I was trying to think of like, what is it? Look how like shop houses or milk shops or what? I don't know. But yeah, I just saying it'd be kind of weird. But I, mean, I don't drink coffee. But no, I was like, what's this cosmics? Like, did I tell you the Dutch Bros? I thought they sold paint. Because I don't know. It was like just the way they had the windmill. It reminded me of like some kind of paint canister. And I was like, there's just all these paint places, you know. And then I had to take a friend there. Like I had to give him a ride, and he's like, hey, I want to get a cup of coffee, and then he's like, go to Dutch Bros. And I was like, they sell coffee? He's like, yeah, that's what they do. They got coffee and like smoothies and stuff. And I was like, oh, I thought they sold paint. You know, and
Like
I
I
was like,
didn't know.
which doesn't make sense. Who goes through a drive-through to get paint? I mean, honestly, Chandler, I don't know what I was thinking.
Honestly, who
Yeah,
does that?
honestly, who
I tell
throws
you
a
what,
shoe?
they have who throws this shoe? They actually have pretty decent coffee. Like, and I don't like coffee, but they got like enough flavored stuff in there to where it don't
Mm-hmm.
taste like you're drinking coffee. There's a caramelizer or caramelize, some sort of caramel one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's good. And I don't
Hey,
only because the oldest girlfriend works in one of them, so I tried
I
it.
bring I got two little tidbits now. First off, that who throws a shoe from Austin Powers? That
Yeah,
like I seen it. I can't remember if it was this year or last year, but a student asked that, and I was like, honestly, who throws shoes at people? Like I said, I didn't have the accent because I can't do the accent, but
the problem. You don't get it, Austin Powers. What's wrong with him?
they're like, what? I wasn't alive then. And then I'm gonna ask you this because my Echo show keeps asking me every now and then. They do like these daily polls. Is it
Oh, okay.
caramel or is it caramel? How do you say it?
I want to say it's pronounced both ways depending upon where you're at in the country.
Yeah, but how would you say it?
Well, I say like caramel because there's two A's in it.
Yeah.
I'm not a freaking psycho.
No, I know I say caramel as well, but I was like caramel. It's like just like my friends in Illinois and stuff. It's like popcorn, and I was like, it's popcorn. Yeah,
You're like, oh, it's not an E, you weirdos. Like
yeah.
the people that are like, oh, caramels. I'm like, there's two A's. It's not Carmel. It's Camel.
Well, this is like when I tell you that I don't get frustrated at people. I just make sure I correct myself. To me, it's a GIF. It's not a GIF because I understand the phonics with the GI, and we've talked about this. I think like last year's one of the episodes before. But
Well,
I'm
yeah.
like, I'm not gonna like get on you about stuff. But I was like, I'm just not gonna say it that way. But no, I thought it was funny because the Echo Show it asked me these trivia stuff or not trivia, but these daily polls, and it was like, I wanted to know what your take was. So it's
No,
caramel.
yeah, it should be because there's two A's in it. And like, I just think when I was like, what? No.
Choey and Jandler fixing yet another problem in America. We're telling you
Like,
how to say
like,
the word, people.
like the Bargatze thing where he's like, oh, we're going to get rid of the British U and color and behavior or
But not
flavor.
in,
But we're gonna keep it in glamour.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. That's your pyramid that we just heard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
we, so what my thing is lately, sorry if it offends anybody. I don't want anybody to get upset about it right now, what I'm saying. But if you do offend it, then you should be offended because it's this crazy belief in the first place. But anytime like I don't like something on like a food and like the kids are asking, like I just don't like mustard. I just don't.
I don't like it either.
And he said like they'll be like, what? You don't put mustard on your hot dog? I'm like, no, only Nazis do that. Like, why would I do that? And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's a Nazi thing right there. Mustard on hot dogs. What kind of psycho crazy stuff is that? I'm not killing people like that.
What do you go? Ketchup and relish, or just ketchup, or no
I'll do
relish?
ketchup. I'll do ketchup. Every once in a while when I'm feeling a little frisky, I'll do ketchup and some mayo up in there too. If I got all the toppings, then I start getting crazy with like, like a little bit of chili, some jalapenos and other stuff like that.
Yeah, I love the chili and the cheese, but you want to make fun of me here. There's times that I don't even like putting any condiments on the hot dog. It's
So
just
if
like,
it's dry, if it's too dry though, I just don't like it.
well, I know, yeah, because it's like if it is too, the ketchup is there to help. Like that was years ago. Now I have
Yeah.
to make sure I have the ketchup, or like you said, I might choke because
Yeah,
it's too
dude.
dry.
One of the coolest things ever, and I don't think they do it anymore. I'm gonna Google it while I'm coming out. when they would do dollar night at the missions games,
Mm-hmm.
because it was like dollar beers, dollar hot dogs, dollar soda.
Yeah.
Oh, take like $20. You're full, and you're enjoying the game.
I forget. Like I think it was Tuesdays when they had it might be like $2 beers. Maybe last time I went, but it's not like Tuesdays or Thursdays. One of them's cheaper tickets and one of them's cheaper drinks and food and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the dollar night for like everything else is like it's a little more expensive because they got to make the comeback and stuff like that. But
you're like
oh,
you're like tickets are $30, $50, but you get $1 for a hot dog. You're like sold.
you're all, I guess how much are tickets every other day? $3. Like,
Yeah.
well, I don't know.
Well, it makes sense. All right, you want to do the social media plug, sir?
Yeah, so you can find us on social media at Choey and Jan at CHOEY, the letter NJAN, on X, TikTok, Facebook, or is Facebook Choey and Jan too?
I think it's the regular. I think the other one's Choey and Jan 2 was the threads and the
Those and
Insta.
those. Okay. So at Choey and Jan on X, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and then at Choey and Jan 2, with the 2 being TOO on Instagram and Threads.
I'm gonna make sure. I know you said it right, but he didn't say it like TWO. It's TOO.
So it
You
says.
said it right, but I was just in my head. I could see people being like, "No, he said W. No, he didn't. He didn't." But
And I told you, I don't know if I gave you props on the air with it. I thought it was like 2. It's like Choey and Jan also.
yeah,
It's like this is us all as well. In case you're bored.
No, you did. You laughed at it, and what I probably need to do is go. I don't know. No, I was like, "Should I go change the others, or just keep it both ways?" Did you tell Junior that there's a new inebriated history yesterday?
I haven't told him because I'm waiting for him to tell me.
Oh, you want him to see? So you're like testing him. You're like, "Hey, did you
Because I
listen
want to see
to it?"
like if he actually, because he's the one that's been like. I mean, granted, I see them come out, but
Uh-oh.
I
In
think
and
it's
out there,
funny when he
Choey.
comes and tell like he. I always know when he watches it because then he always does
Last Choey, have to get rid of this dead silence. Whatever. I hope Choey's alive because his camera froze.
oh,
There
that's
he is.
not good.
Yeah. What'd you say?
Am I there?
Yeah, you're not here.
Am I here?
Yeah, I hear. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay, I just want to make sure.
No.
I was like, I was talking the whole
When
time.
you stood up and like walked a minute off screen, it just like froze on you.
Oh, well, that's it. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
No, because I like him to come and tell me because I see him whenever they come out.
Uh-huh.
But then I think it's just funny because he comes over and he's like, "Let me tell you about," and he tries to do the voice,
Yeah.
and he always sounds more like old manish than he does Morgan Freemanish.
Yeah.
And it's like, "Let me tell you about inebriated history." And I'm like, "Is that your Morgan Freeman?" Needs a little bit of work, kid.
But yeah, we did April Fools yesterday, and the next one that I'm gonna release, I've done it before, but I'm gonna re-release the Easter Bunny one, and then like there's actually a couple more I got in the works, and it sounds like we got some digital short ideas that we need to work on too. There's a lot of things, a lot of
Yeah.
projects we got going on,
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna pull the plug on this, sir.
Yank it.
Dang it.